Boman has had an amazing career. He started as a waiter, it says, and also making chips, the family business, an amazing Bollywood star with an amazing career. And there's a little surprise at the end of his talk. For those of you who have seen him going viral on Instagram will know what I'm talking about. But Boman, you are amazing, and thank you so much for taking out time and doing this for us and Akshaya Patra and all of the people here. The stage is all yours, my friend. Large round of applause for Mr. Boman Irani.
Thank you so much, Parveen. You're wonderful. You're a wonderful co-star, your beautiful wife, and your amazing son who spared me today. Good evening, everyone. First of all, it's such an honor to be here, to be part of this great movement. And what you are doing is simply astounding, and I feel humbled to actually hear the kind of things that you all are doing, which makes us feel that we need to do more with ourselves in our lives. So thank you for inspiring me. Ladies and gentlemen, big round of applause. Come on. I know you all are eating. I know you all are eating. But it's so beautiful to be here. I just want to say that everybody in this room, I'm not very sure if you know who I am and what I do. I'm not sure. Does anybody know that don't know what I do and who I am? Maybe I need to introduce myself. Anybody? Anybody's hand up? Everybody knows who I am and what I do? You do? You know, I wouldn't like to take anything for granted in this world. You know, I can't assume that everybody in this room knows who I am and what I do, right? I'll tell you why. This is a lesson in assumption. I was on a flight once, very early in the morning. It's quiet on a flight, and one guy, you can hear his voice in the aero bridge, talking loudly. He's doing some business on the phone, and it sounds so rude. No? Doesn't it sound rude? Let me get some feedback, even if your mouths are full. Just say, just say it. Isn't it rude? Anyway, he came. That's nice. And he comes on the flight, and he spots me like that. And he gets very excited. He starts screaming, "Mera favorite actor. Mera dunya ka sabse favorite." And he won't stop talking loudly. Mera dunya ka sabse favorite actor. And I'm getting a little embarrassed. And then he got breathless. And he started panting heavily. And he looked at me, and no words were coming out of his mouth. And then he comes all the way up to me, he bends down and he whispers in my ear, but whispers so loudly that the whole plane could hear what he said. Lekin bhai sahab, aapka naam kya hai, wo batao. From that day on, my friends, I never take anything for granted. I make sure to tell people who I am. My name is Boman Irani, ladies and gentlemen. I'm an actor, and thank you for having me here. Come on, let's have some energy in the room. Everybody here knows Dinesh? There were only 2 people who said yes. There were and you went on as if you're the head cook and bottle washer of this entire event. You know what we do? He was giving some long. I said, everybody here, take 2. Let's try once again. Everybody over here knows Dinesh? Dinesh, stand up. Stand up. We need to know. They need to see you properly. Turn around. Face them. Big. Dinesh gave me a brief about this event for 2.5 hours. I'm not joking. I like to be polite. I don't like to hurt anybody's feelings. But Dinesh briefed me for 2.5 hours. And I can swear, hand on heart, it was the most boring briefing that I've ever heard in my life. Right, Dinesh? And then he went on and on. The year we started, and it's 2 years in Singapore. This is our 2nd year, 30. I forgot. I forget. All I know is that the organization is unbelievable. But you started giving me all kinds of numbers, and you lost me there. You know I'm pulling your leg, right? But this is the truth. I'm not going to lie about this. After the briefing got over, he asked everybody else in the room to leave because he needed to tell me something very important. I need to talk to you. You know, I need to talk to you man to man separately. I said, yeah, Dinesh, tell me. I needed to ask you, what's Katrina Kaif like? This whole 2.5 hour briefing just to ask me that one stupid question. You know, I'll tell you the problem with Dinesh is jealous of me. Can anybody tell me why he's jealous of me? Anybody? Dinesh, you tell me why you're jealous of me. I'll tell you. Apart from many other reasons, but because I get to act with the most beautiful women in the country, right? Come on, guys, give me a big round of applause. Yeah. However, like my school friends feel the same way. They're jealous. But I say, don't be jealous. Do you know why? Because they only play their father, okay? Of course, once I did get to play the romantic hero, the lead. I did. Jealous? Don't be. My heroine was Farah Khan. So, little lightness before we get into the 2.5 hour revenge. And my speech is going to be for 2.5 hours, right? Dinesh, isn't that right? Everybody here okay with this? 2.5 hours? Let me hear it, man. 2.5 hours. Who said no? No dessert for you. Are we on the dessert course? Are we yet there? No? Then the ting tong will stop. Anyway, so let's get started. I'm going to tell you a little story. It's going to take 2 hours. I'm really proud to be here, so I'm a little emotional. And I heard the stuff that you'll do today, this morning. It really, really gladdened my heart. God bless you all. God bless you all for being here. God bless you all for supporting. God bless you all for making people who take an initiative and want to kind of thrust it onto the world with goodness. The support comes from rooms like this all over the world. It really does. It really does. So let's talk about me for a change. I was born in 1959, December. Please don't calculate, please. Oh, who said that? Do I look older than that? No. I was born in 1959, December, and my father, God bless his soul, he passed away in 1959, May. So suddenly everyone went quieter. Acha bichara. Nothing to be sad about. All the cutlery is also stopped. My father died in May. I was born in December, which means I was born posthumously. I came into this world surrounded by women. My mother, my 3 sisters, then some 85 masis, chachis, and aunties, right? And all of them used to mollycoddle me, and I was the most scared child on the planet. On top of it, I had a speech defect. I used to speak like virus, with my tongue sticking out, with a big lisp, and I used to stammer, stutter, and squeak at the same time. So if you asked me to say how many classes in your school, I would say, there are so many classes. I talk like everybody used to laugh. And when they used to laugh, I used to feel really bad. I thought something's wrong with me. So guess what I did for the next 8 years? I just didn't speak. I kept quiet. I never opened my mouth out of fear that someone will think something is wrong with me. So much so that when I went to St. Mary's School, my mother took me, Father Molyneux was the principal then, and he said, I know Mrs. Irani what the problem is. We'll get him in. I'll just show him some pictures. And he's in school. So he showed me a photograph of a horse. And the horse has an S in it, so if I had to say it, which I didn't because I'm too wise, I would have had to, right? So he says, don't worry, son, don't worry, son. He showed me another photograph of a mouse. Mouse. I didn't say it because I thought if I said it, he'll think something's wrong with me and he won't give me admission. But guess what? He didn't give me admission. And my mommy's crying in the taxi. She was weeping away and she's saying, why you know what it is? And she's pinching me in the bum in the operation and saying, say something. Parsi moms do that. And she really felt bad that, she didn't pump me up enough to just open my mouth. It doesn't matter. We all have our fears. And especially our kids in this generation, when they have to come up to a certain standard thanks to social media, we're making them feel they are less than the other. However, 10 days later, Father Molyneux called me up. I called up my mother and said, Mrs. Irani, I'm an educationist. What am I doing? What am I doing? He said, which child doesn't know what a horse is? Which child doesn't know what a mouse is? Mrs. Irani, he's just a shy, inhibited child. Send him to St. Mary's and I'll put him in that school and make a man out of it. Now you're supposed to clap at this time, right? But you're too busy. Because this is what it is. We judge books by their cover. We take shyness for stupidity. We take inhibition for being incapable of doing something. And this is what I think it's so important, parents in the room. We must understand that all our kids don't have to match the neighbor's child. Just make good human beings out of them. I went to school and discovered one more thing, that I was dyslexic and dyscalculic. We did not know back in the day the scientific terms for dyslexia. Does anybody know the scientific term for dyslexia back in the 60s? I'll tell you, duffer. Duffer है कोई बात नहीं यार कोई बात दुकान में बिठा देना दुकान में बिठा देना can you imagine it? And I am listening to this, to the insensitivity of it, because people judge. Now, thank you Amir Khan for Tare Zameen Par. Honestly, it's so important because it's just a learning disability. I'm so bad with numbers, my friends, and people think I'm joking because I look educated, right? It was supposed to be a joke. Nobody laughed, no problem. But I'm so bad with numbers. You tell me what my room number is, I forget. You tell me something, by the time I leave the stage, I've forgotten the number. I go to the wrong room in the hotel so many times. I knock on the door. It's happened so many times. I'm not joking. Sometimes I go on purpose, but it's a family crowd. One soul laugher, shoulder laugher, shoulder laugher. And for me, being told that because I don't know numbers and my arithmetic is so bad, I used to get 7 or 8 marks and nobody would believe it. Because in certain subjects I did pretty well for myself. But those 7 or 8 marks, if my mother hammered the hell out of me to get better marks, 8 के 9 मिलते थे, उससे ज़्यादा नहीं मिलते, शायद कम मिलते. But my mother understood one very important thing. One day, on a day as special as this is a very special day, just by the way, I'm on stage and I'm in the choir. They put you in a choir and I'm with a big red bow and with lipstick and rouge and singing away on annual day, and my mom's sitting somewhere. No, ma, not you. Sitting somewhere, and I'm singing away, and I'm looking at my mother. I used to be a frightened child that frowned a lot, like virus. I'm not joking. I use a lot of that thing to remind myself I'm not that frowny, lispy guy anymore. And my mother's sitting there, and she's smiling away. I'm thinking something's wrong. She's gone a little bananas, you know. So I'm looking at her. All the way. And then after the event, we're in the taxi, and my mother comes and says, I said, Mom, why were you smiling so much? Saying, Beta, for the first time in your life, you were smiling, son. Think about it. Think about the anxiety of our parents. All we ever want, whatever business we do, however big we become, whatever ladder of success, eventually you turn around and you look at your kids. You want them to be happy. You want them to be successful. You've done it, right? And my mother was the happiest person that day. She was smiling. But she understood one key thing about her son. She figured out this. She figured out my nursery. She saw that I'm happy on stage. She figured that out. She could see it in my face. She could see that I like to take light on my face. I like this. I like lights. And I love an audience. She figured that out. Next thing, she puts me in drama classes, not maths classes, in drama classes. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Sent me to a speech therapist, got rid of my lisp, got me to do elocution, sent me singing classes, sent me to the cinema. We had a cinema hall right opposite our house. From a balcony, you could see Alexander Cinema. And every day, he would send me to see a movie. Every day. Can you imagine? A mother who, and my aunts would say, well, he's going to turn your life around, but you can't send him to the cinema hall. What you doing? Say, he knows what he's doing there. He understands it. And that's all we need to do for our children. That's all we need to do. And every night she would say, what movie did you watch tonight? I would say, Piazza. And go and see it again. Why? Then go and see it so that you can get the lyrics, get the photography, get the dialogue, get the acting. Go and study the movies. And she would encourage me to go every night. We had a shop called Golden Wafers, Dukanti. The Dukan was no broader than these two monitors here. And then the next room was a bhatti over here with a karai. And we used to fry wafers over here, potato chips. And the bhatti wall was the back wall of Novelty Cinema in Grand Road. Anybody remembers Novelty Cinema? Yeah? And if you stuck your ear to the wall, you could hear the songs or the vibration and sometimes some dialogues. And I would do that. I used to watch every movie in the city by myself. By now I must be 11 or 12 years old, right? My dad's friend, Farood. My mother used to send me for all the movies my dad, who had never met. I got to know my dad from the movies that he watched. Can you believe it? This is your dad's most favorite movie. Remember this line in the movie? He used to repeat it at home. I'm understanding who my father is through movies. As a matter of fact, everything that I know on this planet in my life, I've learned through the movies. About the human condition, about kindness, about world politics, cities, Roman holiday, you name it. Anyway, Farood uncle comes home to the shop and he asks my mom, how's it going? How's the debt? We were deep in debt. In 1959, because of my father's illness, there was about 57,000 in debt with his fees. Can you imagine? Choti si dukan, how are we going to repay it? People were cheating my mom. You owe me this much. She's saying, I'll pay it. And everybody said, they're lying to you. Saying, what if they're not? What if they're not lying to me? And I really owe them money. I'm going to pay every single person, even if they are lying. It doesn't matter, because 10 years down the line, when I'm driving around in a car and I'm taking my kids to the movies, I don't want anyone to say, that woman owes me money. That's big. That's big for a woman who is in debt to have the guts to say something like that. If you clap sometimes, it's okay. It's for my mother, not for me. and then Farood uncle comes and asks, everything okay? And then he asked, Jaru, what's running at the Novelty? And a squeaky little voice came out and said, Elsid. Huh? What do you say? Elsid. No, my lisp had gone by then. You've seen Elsid? I said, yes, Farood uncle, many times. What's it about? I said, it's about the Moors and a Spanish warrior, and he fought the Moors. It stars Charlton Heston and Sophia Loren, and Herbert Lom plays the chief of the Moors, and it's directed by Anthony Mann. He said, what? How do you know all this? I said, this is my religion, this is my education. He said, wow. Mommy asks him, Farood, would you like to see Elsid? He said, I'd love to see Elsid. Guess what she said? Boman will take you. So this little fella takes Farood uncle, a 75-year-old man, to watch Elsid at the 10 o'clock reduced rates morning show at the Novelty Cinema. And I'm telling him about the movie. And then on Farood uncle, now this is happening. Oh my God, Farood uncle, now Elsid is struck by an arrow. Oh my God, Farood uncle, now Elsid is dead. But they can't tell the army, Farood uncle. So they're going to break the arrow, put him on the horse, and strap him to the horse. And then whack the horse. Now they're whacking the horse. And the horse will ride through the army. And they don't know he's dead. But Elsid, even in death, will be a leader of men. I'm giving all this gyan to this old man. And Farooq uncle is crying and I am crying. Farooq uncle is crying and I'm crying. And you know why I'm crying? You know why I'm crying? Because I realized that my mother thought it was fit for a 12-year-old kid to take a blind man to watch a movie. It was that day that I realized that I'm not going to fear anyone anymore. I'm not going to fear the sound of my own voice. I'm not going to have any inhibitions because I had found my calling. I'm going to tell stories someday. I will. It took me 66 years actually to make my first movie. But I had decided someday I'm going to tell stories. It's thanks to that moment of empowerment. You empower your children, ladies and gentlemen. Make them feel. My next big joke is coming up. Please laugh. I passed 10 standard. Some marks were excellent, out of the roof, and some were abysmal. Right. And didn't matter. I did 12th, and then finally I decided after 12th standard that let me do something that I can make some money and feel good about it. So I decided to be a waiter, right? I decided to be a waiter. And I went to my grandmother, my dadi. Now, my dadi, we realized today, take some nice pictures, huh, Baba? And don't take from the side because my tummy comes out from the side. Take it from front. Yeah. Should I pose for you? We don't mind holding the show for a nice pose. My dadi, take it, man. Yeah, nah. Oh. My dadi, if only my mother could see me today. My dadi, she was a refugee. She came from Iran. Can you imagine? From her little village with my grandfather and my 1-year-old father on a donkey. Yeah, across the desert. They rode across the desert, came to the port, I think Khurramshah, and then from there they took a sailboat, a dhow. And they sailed from Iran to Mumbai. And my father was dying. And she's asking, my granny, must be a young teenager maybe, what do I do? His name was Boman too, Boman Ji. And she said, what do I do if the baby dies? What do I do? Do I bury it at sea or wait till we get to Mumbai? It's my grandmother. This is not a story from a Bible. These are people I've met. So I'm going to tell you more about her. But first, let me tell you more about her. She was the most beautiful woman in the world. She used to wear those Persian sapats, they're called. You know, beautiful, beautiful feet, wrinkled hands, looked much older than what she was. And she always, whenever I land in a city, wherever I go, the moment you land, someone comes to receive you. Thank you very much. That was for the welcome, and there were 2 ladies to receive us. 3, actually. 4, 5 would have been better, but no. But everyone, the first question that you're asked is, how was your flight? And the first thing that comes out of my mouth is, because I'm thinking of my Gulu Dadi. Nobody asked her that question. So what right do I have ever to grumble for a delayed flight? And business class too. You know what I'm trying to say here, guys? I'm not trying to crack. What I'm trying to say is, today we find it our business to grumble because we're paying for something. But we must know where we came from. What were our great-grandparents all about? Tell your grandkids, tell your kids about your great-grandparents and what they did to be worthy of being in this room tonight. It's very important. This generation never knows the word no. When you come to the hotel, how do you like your room, sir? It's a 5-star hotel. I'm in the penthouse, by the way. But I have made it my business not to grumble no matter what. Next time around, don't change the thing because I said this, right? But you know what I'm trying to say? You know what I'm trying to say? We spend our lives feeling, "Arey yaar, wo service barabar nahi tha, aisa nahi tha." No, forget it, man. Out of the 50 flights or 60 flights we take a year, one or two are going to be bummed, right? It's okay. Think of your dadis or whoever represents that world of yours. It's very important. Tell your children about it. Let's get back to my dadi. So I go to her and say, "Dadi, I want to be a waiter." She said, "Yeah, good, great idea, wonderful." But in Gujarati, she said, "But be the best damn waiter in the world, or don't even try." That's important. And I said, "Wow." And she said something else, which was two things. Two things. Go to the best and keep good company always. You know what I mean? So I went to the best. Taj Mahal Palace, Mumbai. Thank you. Ritz-Carlton है ना ये? Don't degrade me, Baba. मैं Ritz-Carlton Bombay में है भी नहीं आज भी. है ना अभी Bombay में. हाँ. So I go there, and this is my first interview, all right? And there's a Parsi gentleman who was doing my interview. His name is Sam Bhada. Will somebody remember this name for me? Sam Bhada. And young lady, Sam Bhada. And Sam was sitting there, and I went in with a bow tie, and I practiced my voice and what all I'm going to say, and I go there and I stand in front of him. "Good evening, sir." So he looked up at me, he was frowning, and "Which department do you want to join?" "Food and beverage." Idiot. Drop the accent. Drop the bloody accent. Food and beverage, sir. What is the subtext of that line, guys? What is the subtext of that line? What he's basically saying is be yourself. You cannot hold on to this shit all your life, right? Just be yourself. Stop impressing people. Right? You're getting it, not Dave? I'm good or not tonight? Yeah, good. And then he said, it gets worse. The whole bloody hotel business is about food and beverage. Which department? I'm now shaking inside saying, "Sir, I'd like to join the rendezvous." Oh, very good. Rendezvous. Yes, you pronounced it also well. Good. Rooftop restaurant. Yeah. The most expensive restaurant in India. Yes. Amazing. Son, and he taught me a new word that day. A new word in English. A word that even Shashi Tharoor has not heard of. I swear to God. Guess what the word is? Can anybody guess what that word is? 4 letters. That's good. Son, you want something. You want something. And believe me, in every character that I play or any movie that I do, whether you're the protagonist or the antagonist, if you don't want something, your story is not worth telling. Right? So I said, "You want to join now?" I said, "Yeah, right now. Let's go. Go to the basement, you idiot." I said, "But," they saying, "No, you think I'm going to send you straight up there? You're so wrong, son." He taught me 2 very important things that I want you to remember. First, there are no shortcuts and there are no magic bullets. You pay your dues. And he sent me to the basement, wash dishes and fold napkins, and I went on for 6 months. And then finally, after many stages of room service, went to the room service, and then from room service, made a lot of money, put money in the piggy bank, a lot of money. And then I went to the coffee shop to the Apollo bar to the rendezvous. Finally made, and then I started talking in French also. Pehle se actor hi tha. Oh, this is a very nice choice. The rendezvous, the fruit de melachem, the basilico, the pistil zafran, good choice. Yeah. Itna main acting karta tha. Anyway, reached the rendezvous. My mother calls and says, "Come home." I met with an accident, so I have to go home. I said, "What happened, Mom?" He said, "I can't go to the shop. My ribs are broken. You'll have to sit there." So for the next 14 years, I sat at the wafer shop, frying wafers frying wafers, selling them, weighing them, 25 grams, 50 grams, 100 grams, whatever, fried. And this went on and on. I met my wife at the wafer shop. Shall I tell you a love story? That was not enthusiastic. We'll move on. Yeah? My wife used to come to buy wafers every day. But I thought she's a customer. Meru kya mom? There were lots of girls used to come to see me. Aisi kaun si badi baat hai? But she used to come every day and buy 100 grams wafers. Sometimes 100 grams salli. Salli is what you put on salli boti. I can say salli boti in this room, na? Kiसी को बुरा नहीं लगेगा, na? And then her father asked her, why are you buying wafers every day? Saying, So she used to give it to the beggar at the end of the road. By the time we got married, the beggar had become that fat, but got married, and then I became 25. Before I turned 26, I became a dad. Parveen is calculating. 25 ko shadi. I'm joking. Legal Parsi children. I swear to God. Everybody in this room know who a Parsi is? No. This is very important. Mera izzat ka faluda ho jayega. Everybody knows a Parsi. Bolo to. Name some Parsis for me. You're Daisy? Shameless Daisy. You're shameless. You named your own self Daisy. Everybody, Daisy Irani, give it a big hand. Some more Parsis. Anybody knows some known Parsis? Come on, man. Arey, main aaya yaar. Name some Parsis. Freddie Mercury is a Parsi. Arey yaar, tum log mujhe dara. Slow motion mein, yeah. Huh. Any other Parsis? Famous Parsis? Dinesh, if you do...
Ratan Tata.
Ratan. Anybody else? Sam Manekshaw, Field Marshal. Anybody else? Homie, arey kya baat hai, mummy? How sweet you are. Anybody else? Sam Manekshaw. Anybody else? Famous Parsi? No? Aruna Irani? James Sharp? Homi Bhapa bola? Soli Swarabji bola? Yeah. Godrej's, the Wadias. Nasli Wadia? Amazing. You got one? Sam Bada, Nani Palkiol. No, what my point is, let me hang around here. My point is, I'm going to digress a little because I got 2 hours. 2 ghante hai na mere paas. We're having fun, right, guys? Because the rule is the dessert won't come till I finish. The point is that the Parsi community is now down to some 60,000 in the world. There are more Sindhis in Singapore and bloody than that. I'm not joking, no? Am I right? And some people think I am a Sindhi also. Adnani, Irani, sab ek hi hai. Can I tell you a little story about the Parsi community? We need to do something about increasing the numbers. We really need to do something. Look at the eminent people who have contributed to the growth of our country. And I think they're going a little unsung, right, Daisy? She named herself first. She has, yeah. The buzurgs of the community come to me and ask me, Boman, kuch karo yaar. अब मैं क्या करूं? हो गया. They talk to them. What do we talk to them? Talk to who? It's hard to do. Go to on someone's honeymoon and talk to them. Man, that's not hard to do. There's Diya Mirza and all these, conservationists, they go on and on about save the Bengal tiger. Bengal ka naam barabar hai. Save the tiger, save the tiger, save the Bengal tiger. Say, marne do Bengal tiger ko. Main bolta, save the Parsi, meaning no. Anyway, we had 2 Parsi bachas, and for the 7 years that I worked at the wafer shop, I had never taken my family out for a holiday anywhere. Nowhere. Couldn't afford it, didn't have the time. We used to be working overtime at the sweaty. And then I decided I need to do something. So I broke the piggy bank. I had the Taj and I broke it and bought myself a camera. And with that camera, I used to go and do sports photography in schools and take pictures of, you know, annual day, or no, only sports, sorry. High jump, long jump, triple jump, running races, hurdles, hockey matches, football matches, you name it, I used to photograph it. And I used to get 20 rupees a picture. You sold those pictures, made a certain amount of money, and went to Ooty for a holiday. And we, through the yellow pages, picked up a hotel called Hotel Shoreham Palace. This is way before the internet, all right? Shoreham Palace. I said, I'm going to give my family a good time. My first holiday. And we went by train, Udyan Express. We went on to the ST bus. We went by rickshaw, bags on each other's heads. So beautiful, right? We went down and we went and stood in front of the Hotel Shoreham Palace. And we're holding hands. We're holding hands and we're looking at it. It looked like a poster of a film. A horror film. वो राम से pictures होता था ना वो भूत बंगला वाला with वो bloody owls or bats, you know, circling the turrets over there. मतलब ये मेरी बीवी मेरी तरफ देखती है. My wife, when she gets upset, she doesn't say anything. She only gives expressions. I'm also quick thinking यार. This is a heritage hotel. बाहर से कुछ कर नहीं सकते. तू अंदर आ. We went inside. It was even worse. You know those doors, big doors with louvers, with the tea caddy. The sound effect भी राम से अंदर गया अंधेरा, pitch dark. I told the gentleman, buddy, can we have a light? So he looked at me like, why do you want a light? I said, it's bloody pitch dark, man. He laughed. I was wondering why he was sniggering, you know. Why is he sniggering? He went like, he turned on one light. One light came on. It was still pitch dark only. You know why? Because it was 0-watt bulb. And I'm looking at that bulb literally like, thoda light phekna. It's heartbreaking. I said, this is the family holiday. This is the family holiday, my God. And I started crying. My wife is saying, please don't worry. It's all right. We're here together. We are family. And that's all that matters sometimes. Yeah. Came back to Bombay and said, this is not going to happen again, right? So I said, let me go for the biggest game. The World Cup of Boxing was coming to India. All the Olympians were going to come. This was a big thing back in the day, right? And I go and meet another Parsi called his father, Aspi Adajania. And I go there, another Kadus. Son, you remember Aspi Adajania? One lady also, no, who said I'll remember? You all forgot because I came down. Now you're getting scared. From there, when I was up there, you say, I'll remember. Sam Bhada, Daisy, Aspi Adajania. So I go to him. And in movies, it's called a reversal. Whatever you expect, something else happens. The audience expects something. So he's going through my picture. Oh, whatever you do. I don't need you. Sir, why? He said, son, what do you do? I said, I sell wafers. You know about potatoes? I said, no, everything about potatoes. Everything? Where do you buy potatoes from? The onion and potato market in New Bombay. Onion and potato market. You know everything about potatoes. What do you know about onions? I said, nothing. He said, exactly. So what do you mean, sir? He says, you've got football, hockey, cricket, long jump, high jump, running, hurdle, sab kuch hai. Boxing nahi hai. You can't walk into my office and ask me to become the official photographer of the World Cup. You want something and not know anything about the sport. So I'm really sorry. The same words that Sam Bhada used. You got to pay your dues. You can do something for years and years. Ask Praveen over here. I've played the character before in Khosla Ghosla. But I have to start from scratch again because you don't know. No matter how experienced you are, you will always have to start from scratch. Always. So I went and I took pictures. There was a boxing tournament in Mumbai. It was like a hut. And there was a little thing. And guess what? Mere nasib ke hisab, on that boxing ring, there was one bulb only. And I'm saying, yaar, main to chala. Isse kuch nahi hoga. Isse kaise picture lenge? And then my camera, I used to call it Alfred. I said, Alfred, kya kare? Alfred said, don't go, take pictures. I said, really? He's saying, if you walk out, you've given up without a fight. But that's the lemons that you're getting. Make lemonade now. So I went back inside and I took every single conceivable angle. And guess what? Thanks to that single bulb, there was nice cut light, there was nice shadow. And I'm saying, wow, this is so dramatic. All right? It took me 7 days. मैं दुकान बंद करता था, shutter down करता, photographs देता था. And after 7 days, I got 7 pictures. I went to Akshaya Patra and I placed them on the table. ये तेरा script है ना, कोई बात नहीं. I need props. I'm a prop man. I said, sir. So he took the envelope and he put it in the drawer. Ta-da! He just shut the damn thing. Reversal number 2. I said, sir. He gave me an envelope, a small one. And I opened it and it read, Boman Irani is an ass. No. And it was written on that letter, you have been appointed official photographer of the World Cup. Now, what's the lesson that you learn over there? The lesson is very simple. I asked him the very, very next question. It's so obvious. I said, but sir, you've not even seen the photographs. And the answer hits you because he was testing me. He said, I did not have to. I know the photographs will be good, but you have to be worthy of it. I wanted to know how badly you wanted the job. I want to know if there's fire in your belly, son. That's all I wanted to know. You know, and he gave me a job to the Norwegian boxing team, and the Norwegian boxing team it was the only sponsored team. And they will take 3 photographs. One, the guy gets knocked out, the German will get knocked out, and 3, the Indian and Norwegian flag. And I said, yeah. How much will you charge? I said, internationally, it's मेरे को क्या मालूम, 25 रुपया थोड़ी बोल सकता है. So, how much? I didn't know how much to charge. So somebody told me $60 a picture. I remember these numbers very well because $60. So 3 pictures, 16 to 3, 180. But if the pictures are really good and the magazine is very good, then $100 a picture. $300. I'll take my family for a nice holiday, you know. And it was so beautiful to know that I'm talking in dollars, right? I go for the tournament with my little Alfred, thumb winding, you know, one of those. And I'm sitting like that, and I froze. Reversal. World's finest photographers were there with their big bazookas and their motor drives. And how am I going to take good pictures? I spoke to Alfred. I said, Alfred, what are we going to do? He said, hey, buddy, दूसरे का महल देख के अपना झुपड़ा मत तोड़ना. Subtitles required? I'll give you subtitles, no problem. He says, we've come here on the strength of me. Don't panic. I said, okay. Now I'm calculating 180 or 300. And then I can see my $300 flying away. You know why? Because the German was kicking the hell out of the Norwegian. I said, yeah, reversal ho gaya. I said, no, man, come on, Norway, come on. I'm shouting my head off. Everybody saying, to Norway kyun kar raha hai? Un log ko thodi malum meri zindagi $300 ki meri zindagi badalne wali yahan pe. Come on, Norway. Alfred talks to me. Do not take your eye off the viewfinder. Because opportunity comes to everyone. It's like the shutter of a camera. It'll open, it'll close. And if you're grumbling and thinking of anything else, including money, the opportunity will go and you'll never be the wiser. With my hand. It's like Amitabh Bachchan and Amar Akbar Anthony. Solid. You know that one? That Norwegian swung one, German on the floor. And I got all 3 pictures in a whisker. And I'm saying to myself, imagine if I was saying, mere paise gaye, mere paise. I sent those pictures to Norway. And early in the morning at 4 o'clock, I got a call from a gentleman called Trygve Sandbo. Don't ask me why I remember all this. It's some 35, 40 years ago. 30. And he says, Mr. Irani? He said, yes. The photographs? I said, yes. We've received them. Good. First thing first, deliver. And, yes, sir. They're fantastic. Okay, that's good. You have to be good. And now the small matter of your payment. I said, small matter nahi, babu, abhi sab wahi matter hai. One and only matter hai. पैसे का नाम सुना मेरी बीवी नींद के उठ के आके खड़े हो गई वहां पे. I don't know, darling. Mr. Irani, yeah. I'm calculating. 180, 300, 183. For your photographs, bad Norwegian accent, excuse me. For your photographs, we'll give you $300. Zenobia comes to me, and I swear we became dancers that night. I could beat any Brazilian couple. Okay, Mr. Irani, thank you very much. So collect your $900. पैसे की बात आ गई सब लोग woo! And I'm saying suddenly, I went quiet. Mr. Irani, Mr. Irani, Mr. Irani. आवाज ही निकल गया. You're not happy. I said, sir, I'm very happy. And I got $900 for something that I was not expecting. I have my reasons why I was snowballed into this. A week later, we got another check of $900. I told Zenobia, don't lodge it because there's some mistake, some clerical mistake. So I said, I want to come and see the check. That's what it is. And I flipped the advice, and it said, $900 for reprinting your photographs. What? The magazine's name was Veegee. V-E-E-G-E. You remember? You remember, ma? You remember, no? Yeah. And I'm saying, Veegee sends you $900. I'm shocked. Paid me 3 times in any case. And there was no deal. They'd already paid me. But that was something that they believed in. A week later, they sent me another 900. It kept going. Kept going. And I learned a new word that night, ladies and gentlemen. A word that even this happened with me with Shashi Tharoor. He was on stage with me. He's sitting over there. I swear, I can put my foot in my mouth sometimes. Really, I'm very good at it. And he's sitting over there, and because he was on the phone. And I said, I learned a new word that day, my friends. Same cut paste I'm doing for y'all. Huh? I learned a new word that day. A word that even Mr. Shashi Tharoor has never heard of. And that word is ethics. Oh, no. I said, I swear to God, I said, and we were in the washroom. I said, Shashi, I'm really sorry about that. No, it's all right, Boman, it's all right. I know you were joking. Usko kahan bolega? Another 1 hour to go, no? Hold the dessert. I'll order it. Oh. Maza aa raha na? Come on, let's hear it. I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why I have to make it a point to make sure that we all have a good time. I'll tell you later. I started a studio. I bought some equipment and I had to get a studio. I took a personal loan, and I'm not good at business, believe it or not. Praveen won't agree with me, but for 2 years after I started the studio, the pandemic lockdown broke in. Does anybody remember this? 35 years ago, the lockdown? No, whoever said yes is bullshitting, I swear to God. It was a personal lockdown. I didn't leave the office, and nobody came into the office, into my studio. No business for 2 years. And you know why? Because exactly what Sam Bhara and Aspi Adajani had to say. I had not paid my dues. I could take sports photograph. I did not know anything about advertising. You got to pay your dues. And then I realized that, and slowly I started practicing every night. Of course, I was paying interest upon interest. I had no money to buy the rice plate. I had no money to put petrol in the scooter. I used to drag my scooter home when the petrol used to get over. I'm not joking. And I used to drag it home. And people will say, petrol pump udhar hai. Kya bolega? बोला पेट्रोल है कार्बोरेटर में कचरा है. One day I go home and my wife gives me a blue box, blue velvet box. I'm not ashamed to tell the story. I said, what's it? And I opened it. It was wedding jewelry. I said, what's this? And go sell it. I said, no, darling, don't do this to me. I'm feeling hot. No, and of course, I'm very good at crying. So I broke down. It's not a problem. You know, it's that zero bulb moment in your life, you know. You feel your life is a big zero, like that 0-watt bulb. And I'm crying. She's saying, what are you crying for? You want something. You have a dream. Two things. This is a Salim Javed dialogue. I swear to God. Two things. She said, first of all, where are we going? We're going nowhere. Where am I going to wear this jewelry and where are we going? Kahan ja rahe hum log? And second, you really think that by wearing this jewelry, I'll look pretty? No. Look at your face. And she cut me down and told me and showed me a mirror. And she said, you can make fun of the most bleak situations. And you laugh through everything and you make other people laugh. You have an ability. You've stopped smiling. Don't change your swadharma. Don't change who you are. Your mouth is growing downwards, she said. Saying, chase your dream. Chase your dream and smile, Boman. Smile. And when you smile, I'll smile. And when I smile, I just might look pretty. I tell you, those words shook me. Those words shook me, and I kind of did that. And she said, buy me diamonds later on. I said, yeah, big deal. I haven't stopped buying those damn diamonds, but things change when you take fortune favors the brave, they say. And Shushmita Sen goes and Miss Universe. Somebody gives me a call and said, come fast, we need pictures. I go running to take pictures. I take pictures, and then next year I got the contract to do all of Miss India, all the girls. And then Diana Hayden wins Miss World, and I become Mr. India. Yeah, we're rolling, and things start snowballing, right? Bad times don't last. Even good times don't last, which I don't want to believe, but bad times don't last, guys. Now, Shamak Dawa, another Parsi, walks into my studio. Everybody know Shamak Dawa? He did one of those kicks like that. Okay. And he said something. He walks into my studio, looks at the walls. He sniffed something and said, you're going to be very famous, darling. I said, doing what? Photography? I don't know. And he disappeared. And 8 months later, he gives me a call and said, I'm taking you for lunch. He said, free lunch? Let's go. And he doesn't take me for lunch. He takes me to Alik Padamsi's place. Not a Parsi. No. Pretended to be one. You know, you were naming famous Parsis. You'll forget to mention King Charles. He's not a Parsi? You don't think he's a Parsi? Look at his bloody nose. Anyway, let's go on. Anyway, Shamak takes me, Alec, and said, what's this for? I want you to audition. I said, for what? I said, I said, I'm not an actor. He said, don't lie. Don't lie to me, don't lie to yourself. You're an actor. Every bone in your body says you're an actor. Every hair on your hand says you're an actor. I knew he was telling the truth. I was afraid because I had responsibilities to the family. I go in and I get an audition. Of course, Alex said, oh, something he said. And he gave me a role for 3 minutes. A 3-minute role, believe it or not. Somebody said, don't take it, take a bigger role. I said, no, I've got to take it. Laurence Olivier said there are no small parts, they're only small actors. And I took that role. And you'll have heard of Bruce Lee. I'm not good with quotations, but you've heard of Bruce Lee, right? And his one quotation stuck in my head. He's saying, I do not fear the man who has 1,000 kicks. I fear the man who has one kick, but practices it 1,000 times. And I tell you, we do that with our lines all the time. Till it becomes part of your DNA, and then you can own the place. You can own the place. And I practiced and I practiced and I practiced. I can't tell you what role it was, but ladies and gentlemen, the first role in my life, because Dave is in the room. Dave, you could close your ears, I'll tell everybody what my role is. Dave, close your ears, na, darling? Close your ears. My first role. And you should clap for it because it can be embarrassing to some conservative people. The first role I ever got, Dave. Okay, that's it. The first, and clap the moment I say it, otherwise some elderly people might feel offended, but just clap, okay? The first role I ever got was that of a pimp. And I come on stage. I come to the center, and the audience is dead. I say, no, I can't take the energy from an audience that is not enjoying this. I have to give my energy. It is never the audience's fault. Remember that. It's always your fault. Always. And that's why I stand over here. I stand over here and say, if today I do not make you think about 1, 2, or 3 things, I have failed and have let you guys down. And I'll never let that happen. Whatever energy I've had, I'm going to throw it out there because it's important that you throw your best. You can't blame it on the audience, right? And I went there and the audience erupted. The audience erupted. And they were clapping away. Arshad Varsi was the choreographer that day. Before he became, he's standing in the wings saying, Boman Bhara. I said, no, they are clapping. Our mom is sitting over there for that show. And she was holding her chest like that. I can't tell you what it feels to make a person who has invested everything and her belief in her little boy who never spoke could be on stage and have an audience that went crazy, right? Of course, she, being a Parsi, she would go to the bathroom and she would ask all the other Parsi women in the bathroom, how was my son? Who is your son? The pimp was my son. What do you know? That's some pride, man. Pride. It was such a beautiful feeling to stand on stage and to come back home where you actually belong. I continued with my photography, and then one fine day I did play after play after play, and Ram Madhwani comes and offers me a role in a film. I said, it's time now, guys. It's time for the big time. It's an experimental film. I said, Mar gaye. We'll shoot it on a handy cam, which is like 40 times less than, you know, your iPhone. We will write, and it'll take 1.5 years to write and rewrite and rehearse. And we shot it in 7 days. And after the film thing got ready, I said, Ram, when are we releasing it? He said, we are not going to release the film. So why did we work so hard? Then he gave me some long bullshit story. He said, because our name's on the credits or something like that. But he's right. You do not do any less for a lesser job or a lesser client or a lesser human being. You give equally as much. And that was the story of a film called Let's Talk, which you'll have never heard of, right? You've never heard of the film called Let's Talk, right? It was never released. But we put our heart and soul. We had a premiere, though, in his house. 11 of us were there. We gave it a standing ovation. And the reviews were outstanding, right? However, while Let's Talk was being edited, you know, there was this producer-director. Another 40 minutes to go. There was this producer-director who was editing his blockbuster. And he's saying, Kamal, ye shot aisa hai, waisa hai. And then he's disturbed by this film, Let's Talk, and he goes like that. ये कौन सी गंदी पिक्चर है? ये एक्टर कौन है? बमन ईरानी. पारसी है, हिंदी बोलता है, पता नहीं. भेजो मेरे पास. I go to his house, he gives me dinner, he gives me a check of 2 lakhs. 2 lakhs. I said, किस चीज के लिए? मेरी अगली पिक्चर के लिए. अच्छा, आपकी अगली पिक्चर कौन सी? मेरे पास कहानी ही नहीं है. I said, तो फिर पैसे क्यों दे रहे हो? Because if you start doing Hindi film, and I come to you with my film, you won't have dates for the next 20 years. Really? Based on that? He's saying, yes, Mr. Irani, yes. Of course, मैंने check डाला नहीं. 8 months later, he calls. यारा, कहानी मिल गई. कमाल की कहानी है, यारा, कमाल की कहानी मिल गई. अरे क्या कहानी? I said, कहानी का नाम क्या है? He said, मुन्ना भाई MBBS. Can you imagine? I hated the title. So what a bakwas title this is, right? Munna Bhai MBBS. I said, कहानी क्या है? अरे कमाल की कहानी है यार. एक गुंडा है वो डॉक्टर बनना चाहता है. हाँ, और मेरा रोल क्या है? अरे तू डॉक्टर है. तू डॉक्टर है. अच्छा मेरा कैरेक्टर क्या है? पूरे पिक्चर में तू हंसेगा. He started laughing on the phone and I'm getting more and more. My first shot at the big movie scene is a terrible title, a terrible story and a terrible character. I think तेरे को समझ में नहीं आएगा. तू जाके मेरे assistant को मिल. आपने just Vidhu Vinod Chopra, just by the way. हाँ. मेरे assistant को जाके मिले. You know, he will talk to you, he will walk with you, he will talk with you, and you. I said, good God, now who's this Raju? Yeah, thanks for filling the blanks. Yes. And I went to Raju and he sunad me the kahani. It took me 4 hours. A little longer than you, Dinesh. But his story was as great as yours. The story of Akshaya Patra is beautiful. And he told me the story and he's crying, I'm crying, we are hugging each other. And I said, yeah, let's do this movie. And we did this movie. Of course, the hero was Vivek Oberoi. I'm not joking. Vivek Oberoi was supposed to do this as his debut film, but he left to do another film called Company. Then Shah Rukh said, I like the title. And then he left because he had some spine problem. With him, Kajol left, and Aishwarya left, and some Tabu was, and then Tabu left. Only I was remaining. The movie didn't get off the ground. Only Arshad also came in just a week before the shooting. Then we found a college boy of 44 years old, Sanju. And we made the film in record time and record budget. Nobody put money into that film. Nobody took money for that film because we believed. Everything you have to believe at the end of the day. You have to believe it there. We made the film and then nobody bought it. Nobody wanted to distribute it. Mr. Vinod Chopra, I must say, he's a man of steel. We released it and the movie flopped. Yeah. When the movie was released, it flopped. And in single screens on the first weekend, it's always houseful, no matter whether it's a hit or a flop. Back in the day, I'm talking about many years ago. And the theater, Maratha Mandir, half full. I'm watching, दुकान का shutter down करके मैं जाता था, देख रहा हूँ, लोग हंस रहे हैं, लोग रो रहे हैं, लोग enjoy कर रहे हैं. They're breaking the seats out of excitement. And I came out of the theater one night and I said, no, this can't be. And I heard a voice. I really heard a voice. And the voice was this. Hey, Mamu. Niche dekho. There was a lady sitting on the footpath. You know, rough-looking lady, curly hair. She shoved some money in her blouse like that. And she smiled at me. Mamu. What? क्या कमाल का एक्टिंग किया रे मामू. My first fan. Oh my God, I'm so this fan. Nobody recognized me inside because in the movie I was takla, no? And so anyway, she said, and then she said something I couldn't believe. And मामू, बहुत पैसा कमाएंगे हम लोग. So I thought that she was a producer or a distributor, 6 or 7 flops, and she's on the road now. So I said, sorry ma, बहुत पैसा का. आप कैसे बोल रहे हैं? बहुत भोले हो रहे मामू. मैं ब्लैक में टिकट बेचती हूँ. मेरे को सब मालूम है. मैं मंडे से मैंने सब टिकट खरीद लिए. ऐसे बिकेंगे. और याद रखना मामू, 20 साल तक ये पिक्चर लोग याद करेंगे. I call up Raju. I said, Raju, अपनी पिक्चर हिट हो गई. Then कौन बोला? ट्रेड गाइड, तारादर्श, कोमल नाथा, कौन बोला? I said, वो ब्लैक मार्केट, दो पागल हो गया. ब्लैक मार्केट के. I said, but it really, eventually, no matter what you do, how much you advertise or you promote, at the end of the day, something good is going to work. Something good is going to work, right? And the movie, in 10 days later, it was December, we got 10 nominations. And 10 days later that, we were the first awards. The night before the first award, we literally have 3 minutes to go. I think I've timed it to a T. Arshad Barsi comes to me and said, "What are you wearing tomorrow?" I said, "What do you mean? You don't have a suit?" I said, "Why would I need a suit? I'm a dukandar." He's saying, "We get to get you a suit." So he calls up Naresh Rohira of Masculine. "Naresh bhai, in 24 hours I want a suit." "No, mere paas time nahi hai." I said, "Thank God, because he does Shah Rukh's clothes and Hrithik's clothes, and they are very expensive." I said, "Mere paas time nahi hai." "Arey please, जीतेगा कल." "कौन?" "Boman Irani." "मैं Boman Irani को नहीं जानता." I said, "Thank God, बहुत महंगा सूट बनता है इनका." Saying, नहीं, वो कल जीतेगा." "कौन से पिक्चर के लिए?" "मुन्ना भाई." "क्या किया मुन्ना भाई ने?" "वो डॉक्टर." "अरे वो टकला, वो अरे मैं उसका फैन है, मैं सूट बनाएगा, कल तक आ जाएगा." Okay. I said, "I'm so excited. He recognized me. He wants me to win and all that." Saying, "What about measurements?" "Measurements? Time नहीं है." "Time नहीं है?" "उसका height क्या है?" "6'2". "बन जाएगा." I said, no. I am paying top dollar. I want, but I think 6'2" height से हो जाएगा. I said, "क्या collar इधर आएगा क्या?" Saying, "उसको phone दो." So I take the phone. "Hello, Mamu. How are you?" Don't worry, किसी को बोलना नहीं. क्या नहीं बोलूं? मेरे पास मुन्ना भाई का DVD कॉपी है. तो मेरे पास बहुत बड़ा टीवी है. I said, तो मुन्ना भाई प्ले करूंगा, आप जब स्क्रीन पे आएंगे फुल लेंथ में मैं आपको मेजर करूंगा. आपका हाइट 6'2" है, तो इधर कॉरेस्पॉन्डिंगली 10 inches is equivalent to 6'2". Shoulder length, arm length, अंदाज इसमें बना लूंगा. Don't worry. That's what you call innovation, guys. And then he said something that hurt my feelings. पेट पे थोड़ा लूज रखूंगा. I said, क्यों? मेरे पास 3D टीवी नहीं है इसके लिए. The next day I'm standing under the stage at BKC for the first awards, standing there on a towel, looking like a fool with my phone torch. Why I'm holding the phone torch when I'm naked, I don't know why. And then one guy comes, Sanjay bhai, shouting out vegetables. "Boman Irani, Boman Irani, Boman Irani." Hey, I start wearing the suit, and the nominations start. And by the time my name comes, I'm fixing my tie. My category comes, and Prem Chopra Sahab announces, and the best supporting actor goes to Boman Irani. I'm hugging my friend. But if I'd gone all around, I would never make it. My mother is on the phone with Zenobia sitting in the audience. She's listening to this. And Boman doesn't arrive, right? But I go behind, and I go on that service ramp, with slats. And I go running up that thing thinking I'm, agile. And I fall. The suit gets dusty. And I fall again because I ran again. And I said to myself, take it easy, take it easy. You've run all your life, you've fallen down many times, but every single time you've stood up, dusted yourself, and moved forward. And I went ahead and collected my first award, ladies and gentlemen. Two small little things before I close, and then I've got another duty to perform. Nobody goes anywhere. First, I went to Oslo a few years ago for a film festival. They gave me an award, and they played some films of mine. And then after the thing, a young lady comes and takes your interview, and she starts asking me questions. "So which is your favorite destination?" I said, "Singapore." "What's your favorite cuisine?" I said, "Singapore." And then I got bored, so I asked her, "Which magazine or newspaper do you represent?" And she said, "Vigi." Okay, I'm almost in tears. And I told the young lady, "I've got a lovely story for you about your magazine, about the largesse of your magazine, your honesty, that impacted my life and career. It is so important that, life is full of its full circles, and they happen a little late in life, by the way. It happened, but it was a beautiful moment. Some years before that, I went to New York, and I went to the Lexington Hotel to check in, and when they come out, they give you flowers. They didn't give me flowers this time. I just wanted to check. And they give you flowers, and there was a gentleman there, and the young lady comes. I do get embarrassed, but it's sweet. And I took those flowers and I said, I can't accept these flowers. Why? Why are you going to accept these flowers? I said, because Mr. Sam Bhada, you gave me my first job and you taught me some of the greatest lessons that I follow even up to this day. And I gave him those flowers myself. You know, life has these beautiful circles around, you know, they come around, and you should be, I've got many more, but I was not given more time. I just want to tell you all, once again, thank you, Parveen. Thank you, Akshaya Patra, this wonderful foundation. And thank you all for listening to my story. It's so important that I go home knowing my mother always asks me, where are you going? What you going to do? Did you tell that story? Did you sing the song? And she wants to know the full his heart. When I go back, she asks me just two questions. Two questions that mean the world. And that's the be-all and end-all of anything in this world. Did they show you love? Allow me to say yes. Did they show you respect? Allow me to say yes. Thank you, everybody, for allowing me to tell my mom that you showed me love and respect. It means a lot. Thank you ever so much.